the title race back on after Liverpool dropped points against Newcastle. This is going to be an important weekend. Welcome to game week 15 on the Footy Network. Afternoon everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome to the predictions for game week 15 in the Premier League. Get your predictions in down below. Is the title race back open, or have Liverpool still got enough of a lead, as the Merseyside derby will happen this weekend? If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new here to the Footy Network. And let's jump into the games. Goodison will host its final Merseyside derby as Everton host bitter rivals Liverpool before they move on to their new stadium next season. And the question is, will they be playing in front of a Premier League crowd or a Championship crowd? Having won 4-0, smashing Wolves off the park, Everton have eased their relegation worries. And can they be motivated enough to cost Liverpool yet another title just like they did a year ago? Or are Liverpool going to be calm, collective underslot? Having dropped points against Newcastle midweek, Liverpool have to keep that gap nice and wide. Now that Manchester City look like they're coming back on track, that Arsenal are still kicking on, having beaten Manchester United. Is this title race wide open? And is anyone going to start talking about Chelsea? In this game, look, they always say throw the form book out the window when it comes to a derby. I can see a scenario where Everton spoil the party and get a draw. I just think Slot takes the emotion out of this one for the players. And I think Liverpool will just about take this one over the line. So I'm going for an away win technically. I'm going to go Everton 1, Liverpool 2. But I think there will be blood, fire and thunder on this one. I'm interested to see how Slot takes this game, and can he control the emotion and overcome the crowd? What do you guys think? The BTEC Stadium in West London sees the next match as Brentford will host Newcastle. And these clubs may be coming in some weird form. Newcastle have been up and down all season, losing games you'd expect them to win and winning games some would expect them to lose. And as we just mentioned, they drew with Liverpool midweek, so surely their chests are puffed out a little bit now. Brentford giving Villa their first win for a long time, but at home are a different animal, averaging over 3 goals so far per game this season. Can they hold out and get another win at the BTEC Stadium? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be quite entertaining. But I think surely now, finally, those Geordies deserve their team to go on a run and maybe put together a little bit of a push towards the European places. And who knows, maybe the Champions League spots. But Newcastle needs to get their fingers out their butts very quickly and start progressing up the table, which means they need results. So I'm going to go Brentford 2, Newcastle 3 on this one. And I've got a feeling Newcastle are going to finally put a run of games together and start getting some W's on the board. And that trigger point will have been that point against Liverpool. But do you guys agree with me? Villa Park is our next destination in the West Midlands as Villa will host Southampton. And Villa have finally got a win, and a comfortable, convenient win it was against Brentford 3-0. Southampton are so in trouble right now. They are propping up the rest of the Premier League. There's a gap emerging, not just between them and the 17th spot in the league, but between them and 19th. They have to get a couple of results before the new year for sure, or they are as good as done in this league. But Villa now have got a nice little run here. Southampton at home is a game you would want after getting your first win for a while. Matty Cash scoring, the ex-Forest boy. Villa looked good in that game. I think they win this. I think it's probably unlikely we see an upset. And I think we see a comfortable home win. I'm going to go Aston Villa 3, Southampton 0. I'm still praying for you Saints fans. I think your manager is good. I think your manager can do well in the Premier League with a better set of players, but does he need to change his philosophy to adapt to survival? What do you Saints fans think? Let me know in the comments. Selhurst Park will see the next game in the Premier League as Crystal Palace will host Manchester City. I'm not bitter or anything. Crystal Palace with a lovely goal from Mateta in their previous game. Have they now found a formula to keep winning now that they've beaten Ipswich? Can they get themselves out of this relegation dogfight? And Manchester City finally got their win against Charity FC midweek. But does this mean they're back, as some Manchester City fans are saying? And can they ever fill the empty had up? We will find out. Watch this space. I think they are back. I think De Bruyne looked like the old De Bruyne midweek, and I think that they should make quite comfortable work of Palace. But as we all know, Selhurst Park is not an easy ground to go to. So I'm going to go Palace 1, Manchester City 2. I think Manchester City take a 2-goal lead and Palace get a consolation towards the end. Who knows, maybe even Eddie Nketiah gets his first ever goal or assist in Palace colours. Palace fans, what do you think of that signing? Let's go back up to Old Trafford in the northwest of the country as Manchester United will host Forest. And this game, I don't think is going to be that exciting. These are two low-scoring teams. These are two teams that are a little bit in and out of form currently. With, as we just mentioned, the 1-1-5 beating Palace, especially after Chris Wood missed an absolute sitter, man. Manchester United holding 2 to Arsenal after, was it Arsenal or was it Stoke? I can't quite tell the difference these days. So the form is a little inconsistent as their new manager Amorim tastes his first defeat in the Premier League. I don't see this as being an exciting game, Old Trafford or not. I'm going to go Manchester United 0, Forest 0 on this one. I see a board draw incoming, and both teams need to figure out how to get the ball in the back of the net, as Forest have only scored 1 goal in their last few games, and none from open play in recent games as well. They need to figure out how to put the ball in the back of their net if they're going to get anything from Old Trafford, as in the win. But I see this one as being a draw. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Craven Cottage hosts this London derby as Fulham will take on Arsenal. And this is going to be a very interesting match because I smell an upset here. In fact, this is a game that Arsenal lost last year to Fulham and played woefully at Craven Cottage as well. And Fulham are coming off the back of a great midweek win against Brighton because they have an excellent, outstanding manager in Marco Silva. He does not get the credit he deserves. He has got that team of raggy dolls absolutely singing, and he's getting a real good tune out of them at the moment. Arsenal, on the other hand, are literally Stoke FC, and I know that upsets the Arsenal fans, and some of them wear it with a badge of pride, but my God, man, learn to score from open play. It's getting boring. It looks like Tony Pulis is in the dugout for them, and I think they come undone at Craven Cottage. It's a tough ground to go to from a well-drilled machine that is run by Marco Silva. Yes, they can be inconsistent in some of their results, but I'm going to go Fulham 1, Arsenal 0. I do see an upset here, and can you really call it an upset when they did it last season? What do you guys think? The King Power Stadium in the East Midlands is our next match as Leicester City will take on Brighton, and Leicester fans are rejoicing because they got rid of Steve Cooper, one of the most boring managers the Premier League has ever seen, and they have Rude in the house. And they are celebrating that win against West Ham. But I watched that game, and Leicester fans, you are deluded if you think your team looked good. West Ham just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Yes, Leicester got the win. Yes, it was most likely a manager bounce. But Rude has his work cut out, I think, with Leicester this season. Brighton, on the other hand, after a 7 or 8 game undefeated streak, even though it doesn't sound that glamorous with the amount of draws they had, finally were toppled yesterday by Fulham. But I think they should be able to get things back on track because honestly, Leicester, unless Rude can produce a miracle with your defence, That Sideshow Bob with Okoli, with Vestergaard. They all look at 6s and 7s against West Ham for me, and your keeper saved you. I think Brighton come out on top here. I'm going to go Leicester City 1, Brighton 3. I can see a lot of goals in this because I don't think Rude would have been able to fix that defence in just a week. Leicester fans, what do you think? Let me know. Portman Road in East Anglia is our next point of call as Ipswich will host Bournemouth in the Premier League. And Ipswich really need to start to get a move on. Kieran McKenna has got them playing a nice style of football. The problem is nice guys always finished last. And Kieran McKenna isn't that far off being last right now. They are turning into almost the Luton of last season. It feels like everyone's backing them to stay up, but they can't get the points on the board. And Bournemouth, on the other hand, have come off another good win against Spurs, beating them by 1-0. Spurs fans, what is going on with that club of yours? And I can see Bournemouth getting another win. Iriola, again, another massively underrated manager for me in the Premier League. I'm going Ipswich Town 0, Bournemouth 2. I think Bournemouth come away comfortably with the 3 points here. They have too much quality on that pitch, and their manager is extremely good. I can see the Cherries taking all 3 points here. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium up in the north of London will see Tottenham take on Chelsea this weekend. And let's take a moment and grieve for those Spurs fans, because how do you guys get through the day? 1 minute you're beating Man City away from home 4-0. The next minute you're losing to Ipswich at home. And then yesterday you hold another L to Bournemouth. What is this club? Sack the manager, I hear some saying. Sack the players, I hear others saying. There's only one thing that needs sacking in Spurs, and that's just the entire club, because it's like a disease. That Spursy disease is uncurable. You could bring in Pep, Fergie and Clough all managing at the same time, and they wouldn't be able to get the Spurs out of Spursy. It's just a complete and utter mess. Holding that L to Bournemouth. Chelsea, on the other hand, put 5 past Southampton. Now that in itself isn't the greatest achievement, seeing where Southampton are. But Chelsea are now in the dizzy heights of the top 3 in the Premier League and looking to potentially be the dark horse in a title race. Can they? Can they challenge Liverpool? Or is the gap too big, and is it still too early in the Maresca reign for the Chelsea to challenge? What do you guys think? I'm going Tottenham 2, but Chelsea 3. I'm taking another away win here. Yes, I know I've put down a lot of away wins, but I feel Chelsea are in a great run of form, and I think they end up quite high in the table this season. Let me know your thoughts. The London Stadium in West London sees the final game of Week 15's fixtures as West Ham will host Wolves. And this is 100%, scratch that, 1,000,000% an El Sakiko game, because Lopetegui versus Gary O'Neill. Who will survive? There could be a scenario where neither survive, even if one of the managers does get a win. They are both in atrocious form, playing atrocious football, can't keep clean sheets, conceding goals by the buckets. Who is the worst of these managers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But this one for me has to go with the home advantage, because I think West Ham have just about got the better quality players to take this. So I'm going to give it to the home team. I'm going to go West Ham 2, Wolves 1. But I think Gary O'Neill is a dead man walking. All kinds of reports saying they've already been looking and scouting for other managers. But do not be surprised even if I'm right on the result, that both managers get sacked, because the fan bases have turned on their respected managers. Who goes first though? Let me know who you think in the comments down below. And that's your games for this weekend. Let's see how the table shakes up after these go through. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the results are going to be, and specific for the team you support. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new to the Footy Network. We will see you on the next video. Enjoy your weekend and best of luck to your teams.